Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Middleware Technologies. Today we'll be looking at how we can configure Fluent Bit with collect D as a matrix input source. So here in this video we will try to integrate collect D with Fluent Bit. So Fluent Bit will be taking the input, that is matrix input from collect D, and try to output that into the console, that is standard output console. So let us see how we can approach in this video. So I am currently working on Fedora 39 workstation with Ansible 2.16.2 installed on my system. Coming to the architecture, so let me show you a high-level architecture of what we are exactly going to do with the collect D and the Fluent Bit setup. So here is the high-level architecture diagram, wherein we first enable the plugins, that is CPU, memory, load and interface, which will help us in collecting the matrix using the collect D. Once the required plugins are enabled and we are exposing the matrix using the collect D, we are collecting it using the Fluent Bit by configuring the input plugin, that is collect D. Which will listen on the default port 25286. And once we have collected the matrix data from the input plugin, we are printing it to the standard output, that is the journal logs. So we are enabling the plugins, we are exposing the matrix onto the default port, and then we are collecting the matrix. So now let us go into our procedure, like how we can implement in this video. So as a first step, we need to ensure that the collect D service is up and running. So in our last video, we have seen how we can set up collect D, which is the default installation with a set of plugins that are enabled, and we have also installed a network plugin in order to expose the matrix. So you can follow the following blog of mine, wherein we have seen how we can install and configure the collect D with the default setup using Ansible. So let me go into my shell and let me start up my virtual machine, which we are going to use in order to configure it with the Fluent D and collect D setup. Let me go into my another terminal and try to SSH onto that machine. Okay, so I have my machine up and running. So I'll just try to start up my default installation of Fluent Bit, default installation of collect D service. Please note, you can just follow my previous article and try to set up the collect D with the default installation, and you can just start up the service. Now, as a part of second step, we need to ensure that the Fluent Bit service is up and running. So here also, we have installed and configured Fluent Bit with the default configuration file. So you can just follow this blog, wherein we have seen how we can install and configure Fluent Bit with Ansible using the default configuration file. So we need to ensure that the Fluent Bit service is also up and running. So I'll just start my Fluent Bit service also. Now in the third step, what we need to do is we need to create a Fluent Bit config file, which will take the input from the collect D and output it to the console. So here is the the config file that we need to create. So let me show you the config file. So here is the config file wherein we are taking the input, that configuring the input plugin as collect D, which will listen on 25826 port, and it is going to collect the metrics and output it into the standard output, and it is going to match for all the records. And the service section is the same. So basically, like we are not touching anything on that one. Now let us go into our documentation again, and now let us see like step 4, that is updating the Fluent Bit config. So here in this step, like what we are going to do is we are going to update our Fluent Bit configuration, which is the default configuration, with the new config file, that is collectd standard output.conf file. And we are going to execute our Ansible playbook with the following tag, so that we are going to just run that configure plugin, configure Fluent Bit task. So let me just copy this command to execute the playbook. So here you can see like we are executing the Linux setup Fluent Bit plugin with the following inventory file, that is the managed host name, which is there in that host file, and we are passing this extra vars, wherein we are ensuring that the following config template is going to be copied, and we want to configure Fluent Bit with this new configuration file. So we are passing this tag so that exact role is going to be executed. So now you can see the Linux configure Fluent Bit task has been executed, and it has uploaded the new config file, which is the following file, collectd standard out. So if we go into the manager node, so you'll see the new configuration file has been updated. Now let us go into our next step, that is starting the Fluent Bit service. So we can just go ahead and restart the service now. If your service is not already started, like you can just go ahead and start the service, otherwise you can just go with restart. So here like the Fluent Bit service has been restarted. Now it's time to validate the results. So once we have the collectd service up and running and the Fluent Bit service is up and running with the new configuration file, you can just check the logs for the Fluent Bit service on the manager node. So now let us look at the journal logs for the Fluent Bit service using the following command. So here you can see like it has started capturing the logs for the CPU, this is for the network, interface errors, interface packets. So as you can see, like it has started capturing the logs for CPU, memory, disk, so here you can see like it has started capturing the details for the memory, load, CPU, network. So these are all the these are all the plugins that are actually enabled on the collectd side. So it is trying to send the data for us, which we are capturing using the Fluent Bit using the collectd input plugin. by listening on the default port, and we are exposing those metrics onto the standard output. So this is how we can integrate or configure Fluent Bit with the correct input plugin and try to capture the system and application level metrics, performance metrics, to analyze further on them. So this is all I wanted to show you in this video. Thank you all. Thanks for watching this video, and you guys have a great day.